Hey, welcome to episode number 170. Apparently, Ian can't count because we're at 170. You knew I was going to say something, Ian.
Yes.
Of the Canadian Prepper Podcast. We're recording July 17th, 2022. My name's Eric, host of the show based in Southern Ontario, a hunter, target shooter, ham radio operator, a computer geek, and as a first responder, witnessed an over-reliance on emergency services during major events and started a small preparedness company to help people better prepare for at least 72 hours, if not longer.
I at least can read my own intro properly.
It's been a few weeks since I've been on. All right, cut me some slack.
My name is Ian. I'm a hermit, often forced to leave the doomstead on Vancouver Island. I do have trouble counting episodes, but to my credit, I ran out of toes, and these things happen. So I forgot to mention the Casual Preppers episode we did. So yes, it is actually episode 170. Don't believe the hype on the numbering from the previous episode.
The internet lied to you.
Yes, again.
Surprise.
I'm Alan, and I am absolutely floored that the internet was wrong about something. I am a safety trainer, first responder, security expert, and overall safety nerd.
And I'm Brad. I'm in Eastern Ontario. Consider myself a part-time amateur prepper, constantly trying to better myself.
I'm Greg, based in Southeast Georgia, United States Army infantryman, prepper, mechanic, collision repair technician, and whiskey enthusiast.
What's your favorite?
Oh man, that's hard. Probably right now, I think my favorite bottle that I have on my shelf right now is probably a bottle of Whistle Pig.
Interesting.
Cool.
Yep. If you want to help support the show and keep the Canadian Prepper Podcast on the air, you can buy some swag. We bought the Canadian Prepper Podcast T-shirt and the tactical Velcro patch at www.prepperpodcast.ca. All proceeds help keep the lights on and the backup generator fueled.
It's good to see I'm not the only one that can't read tonight.
I switched it up on him. I made him usually read the second one. So
Brad can't read. Ian can't count. If you're enjoying the show, please take a few minutes, like us on Facebook, submit a review on iTunes. We also want your feedback, good, bad. Even if there's just a topic you want us to cover, you can email us at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca or get us in the Discord chat or however you want to reach out to us. There are many, many, many options.
Smoke signals, carrier pigeons.
Yeah. I suggest
radio.
Probably the best way would most likely be the Discord chat, but hey. So we've got some mil-spec content for you in this episode. We're going to start off with some recent news, update on our personal preps, then we'll get into the main topic. Let's move to the news.
So Brad can't read, Ian can't count, Eric can't talk.
No. It's
gonna be a
going
great
to be
episode,
one of
guys.
those episodes. 170 episodes in, we're falling apart.
Actually, 170 episodes though, Ian?
Hey,
sure.
The internet lied.
It's questionable. It's questionable.
for reals.
I put in a quick note I found from CBC about the Saskatchewan. See, now it's my fault. Thanks, Eric. You've transmitted that to me. Saskatchewan fire department being busy with some rescues. If you read through the article, it says essentially that poor planning caused these people to go missing, and fortunately, they were all returned unharmed. We will all note that it was the fire department and not the police that saved the day.
Well, the blue canaries, I mean, really, they're only good for like detecting toxic fumes and stuff like that, right?
First rule of hazmat: never go past the last damn cop.
Anyway, as for myself, yeah, I thought some good fear porn would do for us today. The WHO is recommending masks again because they said we're all gonna die again. Who? Yeah, the WHO, not just the rock band.
I was going to say the band.
Tedros's posse there from New York, I guess. Anyway, there's an episode there an article there from the Counter Signal. I got two of them from the Counter Signal this week, and basically says prepare for a global lockdown again in the fall. Okay, sure, whatever.
Monkeypox this time, right? With a mix of COVID.
Yeah, funny you mentioned that. Actually, I had a funny story about that, but that's pre-show. But anyway, there's also a new Canadian nitrogen policy coming into place, which also happens to coincide with what's causing all these worldwide riots in Netherlands, Germany, Panama, Sri Lanka, everywhere else. It's the exact same policy they're introducing worldwide about how nitrogen is a pollutant, despite being 72% of the atmosphere. Yeah. Anyways, so anyway, yeah, it's something that's going to decimate our Canadian farming industry, and I'm sure at some point people will take note and start to rise up. Sounds like there's a protest planned in Saskatchewan as well. They're going to be driving a bunch of tractors from Moose Jaw to Regina to protest this, but that's just starting up now. So
I really don't think they want to mess with those guys because the last person that messed with a farmer, I'm pretty sure there was a tractor that started towing a tank out in Ukraine. Like, just straight stole it and was like, listen, he was like, this corn got to go up.
Oh, I thought you were going to go to the Killdozer story or something like that.
Yeah.
No, those are spoils of war. It's not theft.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
just
creative
souvenir.
acquisition.
I keep it.
All right, so I got an article here, shamelessly, of course, stolen from Jeff, who's not here this evening. But it's just in regards to solar storms likely to disrupt ham radio in and around the 19th. Guess I'm not operating on the 19th.
Yeah, well, this lady, I guess she's pretty good at predicting stuff, and I guess right now the sun is directly facing Earth with this one sunspot that's like really active, and I guess it blew its top, and then that was that. So they figure it's going to be here. It's been floating slowly towards Earth, and
Doesn't surprise me. The bands have been garbage the last couple of days. Not that I've been able to get on use the radio, but looking at the reports, anyways, they've been garbage. But yeah, with that, let's move into what we've done lately for preps.
My new shed, which is where I'm currently situated, was delivered last week. Yay me. I've been busy stocking and organizing it and getting ready for our East Coast trip coming up in a few weeks, and work, and more work.
You didn't work at all, did you?
A little bit. Just a little bit. Just
I'm going to need you to go a little bit harder and do a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you were working hard enough, Brad.
Yeah, I don't think you were.
No. So for myself,
hours in 1 week is not hard.
Fair enough. For myself, got out to the fish camp for one night just to kind of get away, and didn't throw a line in the water, but did get some beer out of the cooler, so that was always good. Got out to the annual preppers meet, so had a ton of fun there. Got out on the Friday and did a chat on, I know this is going to be shocking to everybody, but ham radio. Had a really engaging audience. I know it was weird for me to talk about that. It was a little intimidating. I don't really talk about it often. So, but I had a really engaged audience. Lots of really, really good questions. Lots of awesome discussion came out of it. Had a lot of fun. Saw a lot of people that I haven't seen in a few years because they haven't been able to run the event. So, yeah, had a blast. So, looking forward to next year.
Awesome. Same as myself with Brad there, work, and turns out that my employer is shorthanded, so there's not a whole lot of spare time happening right now. But I had 24 hours at home back on the island, and I was really hoping for enough sun to have like shone during July to dry off some firewood that need to stack up. And lo and behold, 4 days of rain while I was gone. So yeah, that's not going to work. And we haven't had like literally more than 2 days of sun pretty much the whole summer. It's been crazy, and normally we don't get rain between May and September, and it's been crazy. So yeah, I can't get a lot of stuff done prepping for winter yet, but since it was raining, I went inside and started mylaring up some rice and got so involved with that I almost missed my my flight to work. So that's a problem. Anyway, but I made it here, so it's all good. So yeah, we got a bunch of mylaring done, and that's pretty much it for me.
Before I tell you what I did this week, I want to give a quick shout out to John in the YouTube comments, who is listening to us through his earbuds while wearing a beekeeping suit to get rid of the wasps around the homestead. You are way more badass than I am, and well done, sir.
Don't the
Yes.
I think the wasps can actually sting through the suit, can't they?
Probably. We'll find out. So, John, keep us updated.
Yeah, be careful, John, because like I had that problem when I was wearing the bee suit before. Like the stinger's just that much longer. They get through the. Well, maybe I had a cheap suit. I don't know. But, anyway.
Well, so John, let us know that you're okay, because I would suck to call. It would suck if I called you out and you like died or something.
If the wasps
for me,
do a chat, if you want to join the live chat or join the live stream here, we'll let you in.
Yeah, we'll let you in. Just give us a shout. We'll we'll send you the link.
Yep.
I started a new project at work, so I've been driving a lot. I'm out the door before 5 and gone for 12 to 14 hours every day. So that's been I've been away from home for the most part. However, it's given me some time to kind of shift my focus, which is nice. My new project gives me lots of time to practice my tracking skills. Just because it's all several different, a bunch of different types of terrain, and I can just kind of follow tracks around for a little bit while I'm doing my job, which is very cool. At home, I got some garden maintenance done. Our tomatoes are looking really good. Finally got the rest of my lawn graded and seeded, so we were able to put one more project to bed before the weather turns again, and spent some time getting to know a new potential mag member. So he's a local fella that is in cahoots here, and we'll be expanding our interconnection here in the new time.
Can you be more specific?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, fair enough.
Update from
Operational
John,
security
one nest
prohibits
down.
that.
Me and my wife actually went ahead, and what we've done, we've started going through our bug out bags. I use a different type of system. I know a lot of people use like the get home bag, the bug out bag, your inch bag, whatever. And a lot of people have like multiple bags. For me, it's one and done. So we kind of like redid our whole setup, started going over skills, planning out our pace plans, we'll talk about that later, of course. Getting basically ammo, shooting more. I shoot a lot. It's kind of my job. So just been staying training, more freeze dried food. We hike a lot, so we like to be able to just go out, grab something off the shelf, throw it in our pack, and get going. So I like using my gear instead of just leaving it on the shelf. So we've been planning on getting a trip organized when my guys get back from a specific place. So we've been doing that, and we got a couple kayaks, and are kind of gonna see how it goes together with our gear, getting on the water, and just kind of playing off some scenarios. So that's kind of been our focus here lately, caches and whatnot. So
Very nice.
Cool.
And with that, shall we move into the main topic?
All right. So I guess to start off with, Greg, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name's Greg. I'm in the United States Army, 11 Bravo, direct infantry, major league door kicker. I joined the Army super late in life. I literally joined when I was 28 years old. Went through basic training, and I turned 29 in basic training on our final ruck march, which is called the Forge. So that comes from the term kind of like forging you into a soldier. Very cheesy, but it gets the young guns hyped up. So I turned 29 during a 20-mile ruck with an 85-pound backpack. That was horrible. Never forget laying on the side of
pretty awful.
Yeah. I will never forget laying on the side of a road, pulling security, doing taking our like 5-minute rest, which the 5-minute rests are the worst. Laying there, and my buddy next to me is like, "Hey man, I know it's your birthday." He hands me a handful of MRE Skittles, and I was like, "Man,
I love you, man."
like, good looking out. I'm a mechanic. collision repair technician, like I said, gunsmith, prepper, kayaker, hiker. I mean, if you name it, I've probably dabbled in it a little bit. Me and my wife make our own soaps, beard wash, all that good stuff. You know, all the fun stuff we can do together. I reload a little bit, so firearm collector, a couple of them back there behind me here. So
he's making us all look bad. Hang up on him quick. So actually,
we just got kicked off of YouTube. Thanks.
It's the new Hughes.
Sorry, guys.
As long as
we'll get him next time.
Yeah, as long as he's not handling him, it's all good. So
Yeah.
I guess the big question is, what got you into preparedness? Meaning, I guess, did you join the army because of prepping, or did by joining the army did you get into prepping, or how did it happen exactly?
So I got into preparedness. Literally, I was in college, 2012. I'm driving down the road and I see this woman, her tire blows out and it's like majorly aggressive. She had no idea what to do. I pulled over, offered to help. I was in school for automotive technology. So I was like, you know, if I can help somebody, I will. Still that way. So I pulled over, asked her if she had any, you know, tools in the car, had a spare, whatever. She had a spare, had no idea how to change a tire. And I was like, she had nothing to even prop the car up. Car's on an incline at that. So I'm like, wonderful. So I'm like, what do I have to like chalk the wheel? I end up throwing a textbook, a $300 textbook under this woman's tire to change it. And I'm like, my mama would be beating me with a wooden spoon right now.
But would you?
But I got her back
would
on
she
the
because
road.
You're helping someone?
She'd be conflicted. Like, good job for helping them, but that's $300 right there, man.
It's less of a beater.
Yeah. She's gonna hold back a little bit. I'm just kidding. My mom's awesome. So I helped the lady get back on the road, and literally I left that spot, and I lived right up the street. Went to my house and put all of my extra tools in the vehicle for my ex-wife at the time, or now ex-wife. So, and ever since then, it was like I kind of like got more into it, started looking at more like world events and just what was going on. The military had nothing to do with preparedness. This was literally my screw this, I'm going to be a stripper moment. But, yeah. Do not ever make those decisions. I'll tell you right now, I do not make rash decisions, on a whim anymore. So that 20-mile ruck with the 85-pound backpack really was like, man, I took a pay cut for this, a big one. So
Long-term consequences involved there for sure.
yeah, I woke up real quick though. It just goes to show, like, no matter how old you are, how much life experience you have, like, you can always learn something, and you can always mature, and you can always develop yourself. So
awesome. I'm not sure if this is the right term, but I think you guys use the term MOS. But did they offer you any specializations in the military or anything, or did it just
so I actually took my ASVAB and everything, and they looked at my technical score, but so for that, they were like, man, you could literally do anything mechanical in the Army. Like, you sure you want to do 11 Bravo? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I could not tell you how many times I'm like, man, not gonna lie, I'm kind of retarded.
I could be in a warm shop, yeah.
Yeah, I could be turning wrenches, like, you know, comfortably. But no, I love the training when we get to do like some serious stuff. It's very different when you're sucking in the field with somebody. Like some of the closest friends I have, like, never in my life did I think I would be cuddling in the woods with a grown man before. in the middle of December, but I did it, and it was oddly enough one of the best nights of my life.
Hypothermia prevention.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was rough, but we did it. And then there was another time when I got out here to my base. They handed me my 3rd Infantry Division patch, and they were like, "You're going into the field for a month, and then you're going to Korea." I'm like, "I'm getting married on Sunday," and I did, but neither here nor there. It went from cuddling with a grown man and I don't even know the temperature in the middle of December to almost passing out, and we almost did lose somebody due to a heat cat during this field op for a month. Because it was like 115 degrees out here. So it was rough. You definitely develop relationships and friendships. Just you develop a family to the guys that you're just absolutely hating life with. But I'm 11 Bravo, direct infantry. Basically, my job is if you need someone shot, like we're your guys. You need like high value targets captured, usually that's going to be your special operations guys. I'm your standard direct infantry. But we usually get attached to those guys, and because obviously, there's strength in numbers. So.
Awesome. I guess that's a big question I have here for you is like the military. Is it give you tips or tricks or change the way you look at preparedness from either a security perspective or even self-defense or anything?
So yeah, looking at preparedness, it's being in the infantry, your job is literally to be ready to go at any given moment. I mean, that's literally your job. I mean, look at what's going on right now. It's kind of hard to explain without actually going into so much, but my big thing was always just growing, being able to admit when you're wrong, being willing to suck with people. Just another thing is just always being aware, like no matter what you're doing. When I was in Korea at the time, we were doing a training mission over there, and it started snowing. I think it was December, January, maybe February. I'm not sure, but it was around that time. I know it was cold because it started snowing. And they started moving. They picked up everybody in the middle of the night, and they were like, "We need everybody to move into the tunnels. This is training, but we don't want anybody getting seriously hurt, because you lay down, there's no snow on the ground, you can pass out, whatever." So they woke everybody up, and I was walking towards the tunnel that they were moving us to, and I'm like, why is there a random 240 Lima right here? Like that's a 7.62 NATO machine gun. And I'm like, so there was 2 people actually passed out in the foxhole in the fighting position. And nobody realized like, hey, we should probably wake these guys up. And I ended up waking them up, and finding them. And my buddy looked at me and was like, bro, you literally like saved my life. Like, had you not realized there was a lonely machine gun right here, nobody would have realized we were gone. And so it's all about being prepared, even in a non-combative situation, bad things can happen, elements can turn on you real quick. So that's probably the big thing I've taken from it.
Well, I guess the keen observation is key too, right? If something looks out of place,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's one thing that they drill in your head from literally day one. You never ever leave your weapon behind, and my weapon is part of my EDC every day. I mean, I'm not
yeah,
leaving
rub
home
it in.
without it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Without me, my rifle is nothing. Without my rifle, I am nothing.
I'm glad you guys got that reference because I'm about to use that one later. But anyway, did they make you memorize your serial number as well?
No. So some people actually did do that, but we had roster numbers pretty much. So for me, my last name beginning with ABB, I was 101. So I was literally right there by the drill sergeant's office, and it was rough. It was rough because you can't hide there. There's no escaping the drill sergeant. You're just sitting there in the bay, and you're just like, all right, I know he's about to come out. I'm about to have to call at ease. And they would literally have a box taped outside their door, and if as soon as they stepped over that line, you would have to call at ease. And they used to get so mad at me because they would not get past me. I would literally, as soon as that door opened, I'm like, like my head is cocked to the side, and I'm just watching them. They're like, Abbott, man, like they're just looking at me, and I'm just looking at them, and they're just waiting for me. They're like, my platoon actually got so good at it. They were like, listen, guys, unless somebody like super high up comes in, quit calling it. We don't miss a beat. All right. But yeah, it was rough. It's fun, but it was rough. We were talking about that the other day. If they called me right now, man, I'd go back to basic training right now. 100%. It sucked, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, glad you did it. Yeah, sometimes we wouldn't do it
Like
against those would.
man.
Yeah. Awesome. I know we breezed over this like 3 episodes ago with another topic too, but you mentioned it already as well. But the PACE plans, that's a military training technique too, isn't it?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So PACE plan is an acronym that we use. It stands for primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency. Like we all talk about like bugging out and everything. Like, oh, the big. Sorry, I'm just gunshots going off outside. I don't know what's going on. Like, welcome to Georgia. Welcome to the South. But this is something that I feel like is really constantly looked over to a significant extent. Everybody's big fantasy. We would all love to just dip off into the mountains, build a log cabin, and live off the land, right? Half the people that talk about that don't have the skill or the gear to get it done. So the first thing you really want to do, no matter what the situation is, whether it be, shit hit the fan or a natural disaster, being out here by the oceans, we can have, floods, severe tropical storms, stuff like that. Being ready for that, so you're going to want to bug in and everything. That's all. That should always be your go-to. I'm not trying to just spend all this money on gear and supplies and just be like, well, raining pretty hard, I better get out of here. Time to go build that cabin.
Good point. Yep.
But that should always be your primary. And then you should always have a group of friends that, if you fall, they pick you up. If they fall, you pick them up. It's community. So whether that be your alternate plan is going to, somebody else's house and bugging in with them, depending on where they are, maybe a next town over, and then your contingency, depending on, how bad it gets, maybe you head to higher ground, maybe you head on base. And your last is your emergency, which if you're in emergency, you're probably building a cabin in the mountains somewhere, and you're probably going to die when you run out of food in your backpack. But really, what's your triggers on that? Like, what's going to be enough to say, hey, all right, it's time to ditch my primary and get to my alternate? What's going to trigger me to leave my alternate and go to my contingency? How bad does it have to be to, I'm going emergency and maybe I'm headed, 3 states over. So that's really what your pace is, kind of on a civilian level. Also military level. I mean, missions can go sideways all the time. In fact, our big thing is if it can go wrong, it's gonna go wrong. But also, METTC is another acronym that we use, and that's, it stands for mission, enemy, time, terrain, troops available, and civilian consideration. That's a decision-making tool that we use, and you can use it for anything. Like, all right, cool, I got to go to Walmart. Mission, go to Walmart. Get groceries. All right. Enemy is could be heat. It's Georgia. Traffic. It's Georgia. We're extremely overpopulated. That could be what's working against you. Time. All right. What time is it right now? How much time do I have? Let me go ahead, and since I only have X amount of time, let me grab my wife, give her a list, split it in half. Terrain, your asphalt, your parking lot, stuff like that. Troops available. Again, it's your wife, my wife. Civilian consideration, not applicable. So, I mean, it's just stuff like that can go from battlefield to just everyday life. And, it took us that long for me to just explain it. But, once you do it, it's just second nature. Like it take me 2 seconds to develop that, because it's just what you do.
Is there any contingency where like pace or METC doesn't work at all, or is it kind of applicable to almost everything?
I've never gone out on like a hike or anything like that where METTC hasn't really been a valid tool. But your METTC is what's going to help you develop your pace plan. That's kind of like your risk assessment, just very dumbed down, very simplified, very fast, But like if me and my wife go on a overnight hike or something like that, I'm going to let it lay out METTC and set up our pace plan. Also when we leave, like if I go off to collect firewood, I'll give her what's called a GOTWA. GOTWA is like where you're going, others you're taking with you, time, where you're going, and actions to take in case I don't come back within this amount of time. So it's just stuff like that really can help you in everyday life. It doesn't have to be like, Russia's, jumping out of airplanes, it's not Red Dawn. It just could be something as simple as a hike, or, going to the store, running a couple towns over, maybe I'm going to be an hour away. Like one of the big areas for us is Savannah, and it's about an hour away from us. But there's like a lot of shootings happen out that way, a lot of crime, depending on where you go. So whenever I go out there, if my wife's at work or something like that, always give her a GOTWA, like, hey, I'm headed to Savannah, gonna run to the gun store, pick up some ammo, gonna hit the range. Just stuff like that. It's important to let your team know and what to do in case something happens. Like if I don't check in for 3-4 hours and just be like, hey, just left the gun store, I'm gonna head back, whatever. I did not buy 2 shotguns, it's fine.
Maybe I did not.
They gave them to me. Gave them to me.
Exactly. I swear they had a BOGO. Which also, that's a thing. So that is actually how I got my EDC pistol.
Where's the remove button? How do we?
Whatever the opposite of that is what we're going through right now.
Yeah.
Man, that's rough. I'm pretty sure it's time for y'all to like rapidly unload, something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna get kicked. I'm gonna have a knock at my door in like 30 minutes.
No, it's
It's
cross-border.
us that will. You'll be
By the
fine.
time they organize that cross-border, it'd be long gone. So
Yeah, I'm in Mexico at that time.
yeah. Update from John, just so you know, he says 2 nests down, no stings. Time for a cold one. Enjoying the podcast so far. He says myself and your guest have a lot in common. I'm ex-military and also a heavy-duty mechanic by trade. So he says, "Cheers, brother."
All right, awesome. Speaking of heavy duty, so that was one thing I did before the Army. Was I was a diesel mechanic for the city of Chattanooga, Tennessee, on their fire trucks, and that is definitely something that's like a wake up call. That's that ability to adapt that I was talking about. Because yeah, it's diesel and it's a truck, but a fire truck is essentially just one big water pump. So it's more plumbing than it is a diesel engine.
Wow.
So
way more plumbing than anything else.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's wild.
So here's a question for you.
Okay.
Within your METC plan, how high up does carbon monoxide rate as an enemy?
35 minutes, 58 seconds.
100%. It's right next to the 27 can openers.
Yeah.
There it is.
There you go.
There's a
Well
93 Honda
Well
Civic out back with a trunk full of can openers ready to go. I just left the Dollar Tree.
With that line, Greg, you can come back anytime you want.
See, Brad just contributed to pop culture just like that. He didn't even realize it. See,
Greg wins the internet tonight.
Oh, and by the way, before I forget here, Kyle, I think you might have put the wrong text message into the wrong chat, but
Yeah, that was supposed to just come to me.
yeah,
Wasn't
don't forget to grab precautions. I think you need to seek help, but that's okay.
It's 2022, man.
Yeah,
I'm not asking no questions.
I won't do much. Anyway, that's awesome. I mean, like, obviously, you got a variety of experience there as well. That's pretty cool. So, with the military, there, did they give you like, did it change the way you look at security at all, as far as lessons learned and how much actual manpower you need to maintain good security and stuff?
It did. A lot of people, and I will say I was this way, for a very long time. It was that lone wolf mentality. I was always that guy with trust issues. If you don't let them close, they can't hurt you. You don't let them get close. There's no possibility they can turn on you, whatever. And I was like that for a very long time. But the military literally, it really helped me like open up my views, and it was really pretty much life altering, the way I view that. And security wise, it's gone from, you're the one guy, with an AR or a 30-06, just, trying to hide, to, you're just ready to go. You've got an entire team with something to do. They all have a job. It's really, it's a pain being in the military sometimes, but it is definitely eye-opening to a lot of things, and it's hard to explain unless you've gone through it. It's really hard to compare. It's, man, I don't even know how to talk about how it can change you.
Or I can imagine when you look at a house and you see a bunch of windows on the front, you think how easy it is to be breaking into that.
100%.
Or how easy it is to kick in that door and stuff.
Yeah.
So it beefs up your own house stuff. Yeah.
So it's funny that you actually say kick in that door. So on the back of my laptop screen right now, there's literally a sticker on it that says MLD with a guy in like full combat load, like just kicking, and it stands for Major League Door Kicker. So whenever we would go into the field, I've been a dismount my entire career. So I'm like 230 pounds, run a 7-minute mile. And I'm your number 3 man when you stack up to go in a building. So for us, number 3 man is the guy that's going to breach the door. So I'm kicking in a door. I'm going in with 230 pounds. So, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a major pain in the ass, more than I can even begin to explain, but it does teach you a lot, especially in security. It hasn't really, I won't say it changed the way I look at security. I will say it's improved 100%. Like if I'm going to set up security in an area, I'm going to do it in a triangle. Triangles are your best bet at covering your sections of fire or sectors of fire, your view, all that. But in each corner, you're going to want to set which is your apex, your most casualty producing weapon. So depending on what you have, that's where you're going to want you're always going to want your most casualty producing weapon in the corners, because that's your basically creating 360 degrees for the most part. So it's just little things like that you wouldn't think about, and it's keep it simple for the most part.
But I'm sure a lot of people look at a house and say, like, oh, I've got brick that should be good enough to keep the bullets out and everything else. And obviously you've seen what can't
not
work,
in that
right?
safe.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's interesting to see, I guess, like when you get exposed to that, I imagine it changes your outlook on how, houses are constructed, and, even how vehicles are constructed and how flimsy they can really be. So
absolutely. So contrary to popular belief, I know a lot of people watch like John Wick and everything. A car does not stop a bullet. If you want to stop a driver, if you want to stop a car, don't shoot the radiator. Because that engine still has to lock up. If you want to stop a car, stop the driver. Just little advice I do not recommend just going out like eliminating drivers. Yeah, definitely theoretical. Don't be like that. Did that Escalade just cut me off? Like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But if the police ain't around and if there's nobody coming to help, you may have to stop that Escalade. But no, it's a lot of fun. Definitely made some family. What's that say?
Kyle wants to know what your opinion is on
the jalapeno cheese spread.
Oh, the MREs probably.
Yeah. The jalapeno cheese spread, man, the jalapeno, if it's not jalapeno cheese spread, it's not cheese spread. You can't have that. Best thing to do though is take your jalapeno cheese spread, your cornbread, and your chili mac and mix it all together and heat it up. After you heat it up, that's best way to go. That's happiness in the field. So yeah, you're not gonna shit for a month, but yeah, that's
That's all good.
Yeah,
that's just the job, right?
Yeah, exactly.
After that
one. But yeah, it's the food is definitely a story.
Well, mil spec made by the lowest bidder.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, when civilians hear mil spec, they're like, man, that means it's good, right? And we're over here like, that thing's gonna blow up.
It means it's disposable and
low bid. Man. Yeah. So like the AT-4 grenade launcher, literally you shoot that thing, it's a one and done. They're like, hey, once you shoot this thing, put it on the ground, kick off the sight, leave it. And I'm like, I really feel like there's a more economical approach to this. I'm I'm not going to say that I'm the most knowledgeable person, but I took an economics class one time, and I feel like this is not good.
Should be able to at least shoot it twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Man,
It's like you see the cost of those javelins we're giving away left, right, and center. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty expensive trigger pull. But anyway,
yeah.
Actually, you said you wanted to touch on truck loadouts as well as a
Yeah,
civilian.
so truck loadouts, I feel, are super overlooked. Not enough people talk about them. What's in your vehicle is what you have on you all the time. That is your, if you're on the side of the road, whether it be there's a storm coming in, or it's just hot as hell out in Georgia. Me personally, I like to keep your basic stuff. You got your lug nut sockets, your torque sticks. I personally went a little above and beyond. I keep a floor jack in my truck, along with an electric impact with torque sticks and lug nut sockets with Allen keys because I've got aftermarket wheels on it.
Here at the Canadian Prepper Podcast, we fully encourage going overboard.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't want to be that guy on the side of the road for 15 minutes in the 115-degree heat with the scalding asphalt burning my calves. I work hard on those calves. But so I'm actually putting a power inverter in my truck so I can plug in my impact wrench, jack up the truck, start the truck, jack it up, all that, and just buzz it off. I can change my lifted truck's tire on 35-inch all-terrains in 3 minutes and be back on the road. Like, nice. I'm not trying to hang out in this heat. I'm thick. it gets hot. So, but
also
it's not
you're being chased too. So
yeah. Man, they are going wild outside. Sorry.
I heard that actually.
Yeah.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
It might be fireworks. It might be something else. I don't know. I'm going to stay in the house and mind my business. But no, so I keep a lot of your standard stuff, plugs to plug your tires, oil change, because something may bounce up, hit your oil pan, oil filter, something like that. So keep JB Weld, stuff like that. So you can fix that on the side of the road. Yeah, you're going to have to sit there for a little bit and, let it harden, but you can top it off, replace an oil filter if your oil filter gets punctured, stuff like that. And that's stuff that's looked over a lot, but I don't know how y'all's roads are. Ours suck. So that's really stuff that can happen every day. And it's like, man, do I want to wait for a tow truck to get here, pay him $175 to take me back to my house? Or do I want to keep a $30 oil change in the back of my car or in the back of my truck and be able to fix it myself? Like,
that's a really good point.
Yeah.
I thought about carrying an oil filter.
Yeah. Antifreeze, with it being so hot, all the time out here, people don't realize your engine will cause antifreeze to evaporate. And it's a whole lot easier to spend $5-10 on some 50/50 antifreeze, keep it in the back, and not have to replace an entire radiator in a Z71. I drive a Z71. Love my truck. So I try to take care of it the best I can. I don't want anything to happen, so I try to be preventative. If you take care of it, it'll take care of you as a mechanic. So that's kind of where I stay on the vehicle part, but I also keep some security measures in my vehicle, as well as, yeah, exactly, in quotation. Because here, I know a lot of y'all heard about the shooting out in Texas and everything. I'm not hanging out. I'm not. I don't have kids. I know that if they are going crazy outside, sorry, I think they might be doing some training because I literally live right outside base. So, but if I'm stuck in traffic and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, yeah, there's a school shooting and everything's blocked down. Sorry, I'm not waiting for backup. Like, it comes back to that 30 seconds out thing. Sorry, it's on me. Like, that's my job. That's what I've had training for. But also, if you don't have training with your firearm, don't go running into trouble. Don't go looking for trouble. Always be willing to defend yourself. Always stand your ground. But don't go looking for it, But for me, we take an oath. Like, we take it very seriously. We make jokes about it, but because so cheesy and whatnot, but it's something super serious for us, defend the Constitution and defend the country against terrorists, both foreign and domestic. I'm sorry if you're up in an elementary school and you're going to town, that's my job.
Well,
regardless.
For all the police presence there, it was still ended by a civilian with a civilian-owned firearm, right? So
exactly.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you're trained and you don't have a badge, you don't have a leash. You have nobody holding you back. So
that I can understand.
I mean,
we've got our prime minister holding us back, who tells us we shouldn't use firearms for self-defense, but that's neither here nor there.
Yep.
Anyway.
You guys call me if you need help.
Well,
How fast is your truck?
Get that
go?
other. I don't know, but I feel like y'all got a pilot, so
maybe you could pass up the word to your higher ups that maybe they could just try the War of 1812 again, see how it works out.
Yeah.
See if they can help us out.
But it's not just security. It's not just being able to fix your truck. It's everyday life. Like in my center console, for the people that have not the latest body style Silverado, but the one before that, center console lifts up. It's huge. I keep aspirin, allergy medication, Dayquil, just literally anything that you might need on your daily, napkins, a tourniquet, and chem lights. You never know, just because you have the gear to fix a flat tire doesn't mean it's going to happen during the day. Set a marking.
I've come across way more car crashes than I have flat tires in my day.
Yeah.
Actually, just curious, as far as the console, do you have a place in the back, like a canopy, or is side storage boxes, or where do you hold all the spare oil and everything?
So I actually just go to Walmart and I get the stackable totes, like with the yellow lids or the green lids, especially right after Christmas time. You can get them on sale. And so I keep one right behind my seat, and that's got water, 1 or 2 MREs, a pair of shoes, clothing, a tarp, some 550. There's a plate carrier in there. That's nothing. But no, just whatever you might need to get to quick is in the cab. And then I have another tote in the back with oil, antifreeze, stuff like that. You can ratchet strap it in, or if you know how to do I definitely recommend everybody learn how to do a trucker's hitch. Super easy, but knots are one thing that I feel get looked over a lot. You always hear the term in the field, if you can't tie a knot, tie a lot.
Just keep
going, man. But it does help to definitely separate it and keep it organized. And that's another thing. Keep your truck clean. I know, being in the Army, I live in my truck. My truck is constantly being used by the United States Army, and I should probably change my insurance for that. But it can get out of hand real quick, especially when people are in and out of your vehicle all the time. You're giving rides because, like I said, new guys coming in, they don't have cars, they can't get somewhere, whatever. You're going to be voluntold.
Awesome.
Keep your truck clean. If you can't, you can have all the gear in the world, but if you can't find it, it doesn't really mean much.
Yeah, I find it's tough to keep up all the stuff you keep throwing in the center console and everything else before you know it. It's just like you're trying. It's like a oversized man burst, and you're just like,
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little much. Actually, one thing I want to get back to, you mentioned getting deployed to Korea as well, and I think this could apply to anybody that's being separated from their loved ones in an emergency or anything else. But did you learn any coping mechanisms along the way to deal with long-term, I guess, separation?
Man, you got to stay busy. I will tell you right now, we were just over there for training. But people think you get down when you're being shot at, when you're, when things are crazy. No, when you're literally just, when you do your training and then you go back and it's literally just sitting there, you're like, man, why am I here? Like, this is my job. We could have done all this back in the States, but instead I'm literally on the other side of the country, away from my family. We went over there and it actually took, because it wasn't a combat deployment, we don't get extra pay. So now we've got, I'm having to pay for stuff overseas and my wife is having to pay for stuff over here. So I'm actually losing money. So it's like, man, it's, I'm causing so much havoc on my wife and on my family for nothing. And it doesn't take anything for that stuff to catch up with you. It can get fatal really quick when you don't associate yourself with people, when you don't, get out there, you don't talk to people, when you just seclude yourself. Because I'm a hermit. But man, if it wasn't
Ian's
for a lot of
because he found his people.
One of us. So, like my guys would come over to my barracks room and just beat on my door. And after about 5 times of me telling them no, I wasn't going out to the Ville, which was the little town outside of the base that we were on, they were like, you don't understand. It's not a request. Get dressed. And I was like, fine. Went out, had the time of my life, honestly. Great memories. They all ended up drunk. But you don't realize how much you miss a dog until you're wandering around a town drunk in Korea. And then you stumble across a pet store and you're like, everybody's just like stone cold killers. But then they see a husky in the window and they're like, man, we're all crying. Like, we all miss our dogs. Like, we're like, should we buy this dog right now and then hide it in the barracks room? It was a serious conversation that we had, and we almost bought a dog. We almost bought a dog in the middle of South Korea and tried to hide it in the barracks. And we were like, nah, let's not do that. I wouldn't have left it though. He would have came back to Georgia with me.
Maybe a Chihuahua mascot would be easier to hide on the
back. But no, stay busy. Don't take yourself away from your friends. Those guys are there sucking right along with you. They're there to pick you up when you're down, and that's your job the same way. So definitely stay busy. Talk. I actually learned how everybody feels when I talk about guns and cars, because my friend Brown, he is a ham radio operator, and I don't understand a single thing he says. And I've got two Baofangs right here that I'm trying to figure out. He put channels on them and everything for me. And I'm like, yeah, I can't use it. I'm going to listen to the network.
Well, just check back to any of the like 11 episodes that we've done on ham radio.
Oh, don't worry, I have.
Where I drone on for over an
Yeah.
hour about ham radio stuff.
Yeah, this man, I swear, I don't know if he's like got ham radio in his family or what, but this man is like, when it comes to communications, he's a god. I feel completely stupid around him, and he's probably explained the same thing to me 5-6 times, but it's like, man, he just spits out so much information. He's brilliant on a ham radio, though.
I think that's a symptom of modern day society. Though, not everybody can be an expert at everything, except for humans, maybe. But it's, but like, honestly, it's just one of those things where it's nice to have the mag kind of set up.
Yeah.
That obviously his strength is ham radio and your strength is door kicking and so on and so on, right? Where you can these complement each other's skills that way and stuff. So.
Yeah,
Well,
best RTO
we've
we've ever had was that man right there.
Awesome. Actually, coming back to another comment you made earlier. So, are you allowed to make your own hooch in the States, or is that still like taboo?
So, one, I want to make sure I'm understanding your terminology. Are you talking about alcohol?
Yeah, you're allowed to make your own whiskey, or is that?
So, we don't call it hooch; we call it moonshine.
Okay.
But you have like certain like kits to an extent that are readily available on the shelves, where you can make your own bourbon at your house or your own moonshine or whatever. And the way that actually works is, I know a little bit about that. When you age it, the smaller the barrel, it can actually simulate a longer aging process. I don't know the whole science around it, but yeah, a smaller barrel simulates longer aging to an extent. So if you're going to do this recipe, you can put it in this size barrel for this amount of time, and you can figure out how a 55-gallon or 50-gallon barrel will taste if you age it the same way. But yeah, that's legal. That's very common. However, if you start selling at a larger, you can make so much for your own consumption, but if you start slinging mason jars out the back door, Uncle Sam gets a little upset. And,
well, ours too, of course. Yeah, they don't get their tax, and they're going to be angry about
yeah.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, taxation is theft. Just want to throw that out there.
It's right in.
I have a shirt that says that.
That's who I am.
Man, old George Washington would be so pissed right now.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty good. We've been picking your brain for like an hour there. It's,
Sorry, I kind of ramble sometimes.
no, that's all good.
It's all good.
You guys
So you
everything
get the
else?
best information.
Yeah, you guys everything else for Greg at all?
I'm sure we could go on for hours, but I think
We'll save it for next time.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like a follow-up episode in the works here.
Absolutely, I'm up for
Where
it.
everybody brings their can openers, right?
Yeah.
Can
So-
openers, PO detectors.
Okay, so hang on before we dip out. I gotta say this. I literally just put a can opener on my wife's keychain on her keys for work today.
Brad, you're winning.
We were
You've-
actually we were at this little outlet store, and she was like, "Well, you see anything they want?" I was like, "How much is that can opener right there?"
Brad, you've touched lives. You've touched lives across borders now.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're winning, man. You're winning. Like, you're out here changing the world. You're doing God's work. Okay, it's all fun and games, but so oddly enough, though, I make it a key point to whenever I buy like my canned foods, especially with the way the food shortage is going right now. I feel like that's another episode, but everything's got the pull tab. Everything's got the pull tab. I'm not risking it. That's not a risk I'm willing to take, because I'm not trying to stab myself in the leg while trying to stab this can with a screwdriver. Because if that can happen to somebody, it's gonna happen to me.
This came up last week. Does your spam cans not have the pull tab on them?
No, they do. They do.
Oh, okay, yeah,
They do. Because I actually listened to that episode,
yeah.
and I don't remember who it was. It was like, I don't think the ones in America have the pull tab. And I was like, oh, no, they do. I'm driving down the road and I was like, nope, they do. I made sure of it.
Well, same thing with the beef now, right? They got the key that you have to kind of go around the can and stuff, and it's pretty handy too. So
When I was
that
a
I'm not
kid,
sure of.
my grandma bought. She didn't buy the spam. She bought the knockoff spam called Click, and it had the key. You take around.
Thanks, Terry.
yeah, full disclosure, Terry says I always carry a fold-up can opener in my wallet. I'd like to see a fold-up can opener.
So I use the old school military can opener.
Oh, those things.
Yeah. I just put one of those on my wife's keychain, but I put one on mine a few weeks ago, maybe last month or something. And I was like, man, I keep stabbing myself in the fucking leg. So I was like, I'm going to put a piece of tape around this. It's been great. Heads up. That's a piece of advice. Wrap that thing in a piece of tape and you won't stab yourself. It's great.
Electrical tape.
Yeah, electrical tape, packaging tape, painter's tape.
Duct tape, then you can use it for something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Duct tape makes the world go around.
Yep.
Electrical tape, then you can seal a wound. Use it as a Band-Aid.
I would use Gorilla Tape. That's what I keep in my bag.
Gorilla Tape's way better.
Yeah, Gorilla Tape is like my go-to. Yep, because you can use it for improvising chest seals. You can use it to sew up like wounds with your paracord, your canvas needle. I usually keep a canvas needle like inside my phone case or something like that, just in case. I don't know. I'm weird. I don't know. But yeah, you can also use it as a fire starter as well. So
awesome.
Makes sense.
There you go.
I don't think this crowd you're going to come off as weird at all.
Not at all.
Nope. You're just giving tips.
Well, actually, Terry mentions, his is a military meal can opener as well. But I mean, I'm sure nowadays you probably go on AliExpress and probably get like 30 of them for like $5 nowadays. But
yeah, you can. I picked mine up from Walmart. They're from Coleman. They're not the military ones, but they're just literally the same thing.
Yeah.
It just their patent ran out. But no, definitely keep those because really you for like 20 cents, what's it freaking hurt?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's
all fun and games until you don't have one.
It's true. All right. Well, with that, shall we move into the podcast challenge?
Let's do it.
Alan?
Well, if I just started talking, then we wouldn't be able to build up any suspense. Set up one pace plan for your steps. And if you don't remember what that is, please go back to the show notes that you can find on our Discord chat or Google it, or just back up to about minute 34 and you'll hear about it again. Set up a pace plan for at least one of your preps. Once you've done that, let us know what you've done, even in very high detail for OPSEC. Feedback at prepperpodcast.ca.
Now that the suspense is built up, I won't mention the fact you were muted. Yeah. Upcoming events. What do we got?
TACCOM Canada, September 9th to the 11th in Mississauga, Ontario. Do we have a booth there?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I don't think it's happening anytime soon until we can get some cross-pollination with some podcasts again, maybe with the charity shoot or something, and then we start coming up with great ideas again.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, we've got a deal of the week.
Yeah, it's not the large ones, not even the 30 cal size, but the mini poly ammo boxes are on 50% off at Cabela's, $4.99, which is a pretty good deal. But I found they're really good for holding projectiles, reloading components, smaller stuff like that. Like they're actually quite handy and stackable and waterproof and so on and so on. Not
you mean like these ones?
Oh, I got to like no, but they're actually half the size of that, and they're $4.99. But we pay through the nose.
This one?
That's probably it right there. Yeah.
So in American pricing, it's about 50 cents American,
Yeah,
$4.99
American,
Canadian.
probably $4.99 here.
Yeah.
But no, that's until the 31st, I think, of the month at Cabela's. So
Nice.
I'm going out there tomorrow.
Here you go.
Hey, what do we got for shout outs? Anything? No
Yeah, I'll
shout-outs.
shout out Jeremy, new listener. He's tuning in for the first time tonight. So thanks for tuning in, Jeremy, and we'll hope to see you soon in the chat.
Yeah.
Greg, you got somebody that listens too, don't you?
Uh,
Are you allowed to
yeah,
say that?
my actually my father-in-law.
Nice.
Yeah, he listens. My mom, my stepdad, bunch of my soldiers back on base, they all listen. So,
Nice.
Nice.
Well, that's pretty cool.
yeah,
That is.
Yeah.
I kind
Awesome.
of put them on that. So,
Well, shout out to all of them. Howdy,
yes,
gang.
sir.
Absolutely.
All of them.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, with that, I'll bring episode number 170. Yes, 170 of the Canadian Prepper podcast to an end. Yeah, I had to get the final little jab in there. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, or of course your favorite podcast app. The count might be off a little bit, but that's okay. Help us out. Please submit a review. It does help other people find us.
And we do record these shows live on Facebook and YouTube. If you want an early peek at the show, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Canadian Prepper Podcast, and click the notifications tab. That gives you an alert when we're going live. If you want to reach me directly, it's Alan, that's with one L, at prepperpodcast.ca.
I can be reached at batbradcpp@gmail.com.
And I can be reached at crossrifleranch@gmail.com. And somebody asked, no, I do not have a ranch. That is one of me and my wife's goals, and that's a name we came up with. So that's
Nice.
hopefully happen within the next year or two.
Got to go on
Nice.
GoDaddy.com and secure that website. Yeah. Anyways, you can reach Ian directly by emailing me at theislandretreat@gmail.com. And you can also find me on Canadian Patriot Podcast, which is on iTunes and YouTube, recording Monday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm also in the Discord chat for both CPPs. Email us if you want an invite. There you can find us discussing why government waste in society makes me talk to my rifle, allegedly.
All right.
What's your
please
rifle's
check out
name?
to
If
Rapid.
it's Charlene, you failed.
What's
Oh,
it?
boy.
Oh, geez, on Firefly. What did the guy name his rifle that he gave to the captain there? Oh, geez, it was like Charlene, I think. Oh, geez, I should have remembered.
Shirley,
that. Shirley, that was it.
Actually.
I'm here to help.
There you go.
I'm not joking, and don't call me Shirley.
Yeah.
Possibly the most Canadian reference of all time.
Excellent.
All right. Please check out Rapid Survival, rapidsurvival.com. You can get me there on the live chat. You can also email me at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca. Thanks for joining us this evening. Until next time, be prepared, stay safe.
And keep learning.